Hello guys, EzraTime here, and today we are going to be reviewing a movie called Mavka, the Forest Song. Now, this is a Ukrainian movies. It's an animated movie, obviously, and yeah, I don't think a lot of people actually know about this movie because I think this movie premiered on March 2023, but it was on Ukraine, and I don't think it's gonna be released in United States until August. I think I might be wrong on the release date here, but yeah, Mavka is a movie directed by Oleg Malamuch and Alexandra Ruban. I might mispronounce that name, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's based on a folklore called the Forest Song, which is again is a Ukrainian folklore, and it tells a story about Mavka that where she needs to pick between the duty between protecting the forest and her love with the boy named Lucas in the movie itself. And of course Mavka is the plot is nothing new, and of course it's based on the a folklore, so it's gonna be it's for kids, obviously. Um, and yeah, I stumbled upon this movie just somehow on when I was browsing the internet, to be honest, looking for new movies, and then like, oh, I see this the poster, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I might have watched that, and then I did, and yeah, I gotta say it's a good movie, So when I go over to the I guess the plot, a little bit deeper, I guess, because the story for Mavka the Forest Song, it's not exactly new. Like you've seen this plot many times before. Some might compare this to Pocahontas, that released by Disney. That is kind of similar, like a guy met a girl from a different different race. You could say that, but this time it's like it's a spirit, a forest spirit. You could say that, and she has this magical power, and then eventually she met this human boy named Lucas that loved music, and that music that actually managed to bring life to Mavka in some way, because like she has the power that glows green every single time she uses it, and every single time Lucas, the boy, is actually playing a music, it always make Mavka glows, like her skin glows, and I do think this is it's a good movies in general because again, I do think that when people watch this movie, it's not gonna be super amazing, But for the simple stuff that what the movie is trying to do, I do think it was solid enough in my opinion, at least, And yeah, I think the story was well executed, Even though I think the ending is a bit rushed. We're gonna get to that later. Uh, but so far with the premise, the character, I do like them. I do like them a lot. Because they are pretty well written, like it makes sense why the character behave that way, and then the decision they're making, and obviously the movie also tackle a plot between a war between basically two race, like the forest race and then like the human race, that basically because there is a human enter the forest, the magical forest, you could say that, and then eventually this human bring back an army that fight the forest spirits, and then eventually burn down the entire forest, and yeah, the guardian forest is finding them back, and then because of that, the people of this magical forest resent humans, because obviously they saw all human are bad, basically, until Lucas came in and basically proved to them that, hey, like not all humans are bad, and the movie does come to that conclusion, but it was pretty bad when it was come to the conclusion, like it's not really well done. It was super rushed, but yeah, as for the character behavior, like I said before, it makes sense how they hate each other, like sometimes it could be obnoxious, when you actually does this type of plot, but I do think it's a well written plot enough that you could understand why the character really resent each other, even though it was kind of annoying at times, but you understand why they behave that way, and of course, if I'm talking specifically about a character, obviously Lucas and Mavka is like the two main protagonists, and I do like them, because it does feature like a love story that is like classic, like a love at first sight, and of course music was also bring some element here, because like Mavka basically feel love because of Lucas, and because Lucas is playing the music for her, and obviously Lucas promised to Mavka that, hey, I'm gonna play the music again for you sometime later, there's a promise, and you get some other character as well, like the guardian of the forest, and yeah, I think, and then there's the uncle Leo, which like yeah, it's a good character for the amount of screen time that you had. Uh, and yeah, there's a group of villagers, that is like yeah, they're not really that well. I guess you could say they're not really well developed, but again, they're not exactly the main character, and you kind of get the gist what the villagers are, and then that's why they behave in certain way when they saw something from the forbidden forest. You could say that, and yeah, the villain, I mean, is there is a villain here that is like okay, like it's a classic, kind of like a Disney villain, like in the old ways where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to be beautiful the entire time, and it's like Mother Gothel, I think, from Tangled Light, Rapunzel, like. It's kind of similar to that, except Mother Gothel is way better, And this one is like, yeah, it's cheesy, but it does the job, The villain does the job enough, and it does create a conflict between the two race. So it's good, Like it's not bad, it's not great, but it's good, And yeah, there is also other character that I would like to mention. Like there is this three character that I'm not exactly sure, like all of the name, because I think one of them is the only one that speaks on the screen, and her name is Ondina. Like you see it on the screen now, there's like three moments. Like the blue one is Ondina, and she's pretty much the only one that speaks for the majority of the movie. Like the other two characters, I'm assuming like her best friends, or I guess her sisters, you could say that. Like she doesn't have like sorry, like not Ondina, but like the other two doesn't speak at all in the movie, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, these three character, I was kind of interested to see more of them, and we do get to see a bit more of them, but at the same time, it's not enough for me. And I just realized that Ondina is the only person from the trio that actually have a dialogue. She's actually the most talkative among the other two. The other two doesn't have any dialogue. They just like laughing and making other sound when they try to scare people. There is like one of my favorite scene about the movie, instead of like it's not exactly involving Lucas and Mavka, because like it's a good scene, but the scene that I was keep coming back to is the scene where there is like these two guards, I think, and they ventures into the forest, and then they enter like this dark area of the forest, and that's where they met these three ladies. Again, I have no idea who the other two names are, because they never mentioned by name. Um, and basically, these three ladies like scaring these two men, by using their magic. You could say that, like they create fogs, they laughing, try to scare them off, and then you got Ondina try to lure one of the men to get into like a swamp, presumably try to drown him maybe. And there is a scene where the three women basically like their face transform into like a monsters or some sort, and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like that's one scene that I always like, between these three lady character, and I really wish that we get to see more of them, because I'm kind of curious to see what they are, because from this scene it seems like they are scaring people and potentially luring people into their trap. They turn into like a monster, possibly try to just to scare them, I'm assuming. But yeah, I honestly, I'm gonna say it right now, I really wish that in the future, if this movie does enough get a cult following, which I really hope it is, we could see like a spin-off featuring this three lady character, because I really curious to see more about them, but I'm just saying, because I feel like they are much more interesting than Mavka did. I think Mavka, like you get the big picture, and then you get these three side character, and I was like, oh, I want to see more of them, please. Like I would love to see a horror movie starring these three. That would be amazing, but that's probably not gonna happen. But yeah, there's small sequences, there's small horror sequences in the movie. Great stuff, I think I love it so much, And as for the ending for the movie, I do think that it's a bit rushed, because there is something that happened to the character. I won't spoil it, but it required Lucas, the main character, to basically sing to Mavka, and then like to give her power. You could say that, again, I'm not gonna spoil it what it is, but they basically have to sing, and then eventually, because there's a conflict between the forest people and then the human, it's like, yeah, I think these two finally get together to basically sing together, and I was like, okay, it kind of works, but also really forced, in my opinion, at least, because the conflict got resolved super quickly, and it was like, whoa, okay, that's how they solve it. Okay, like it kind of makes sense, because they kind of like set up the scene before, again, not spoiling it, but I feel like the whole resolution for the character is just not really that well done. Like it feels really it's a bit off, and it's really rushed, to the point that I'm just like, oh, like you two are friends now for a reason, I guess. Like there is a reason for that, but I feel like that reason happens so fast, to the point I'm just like, I don't find this believable. Like you guys are fighting each other for a long time, and it's only like what you guys are at peace now for like 5 minutes, And it's like, what the hell was that, man? It's like that's what I'm saying. The ending is a bit rushed. I feel like people might be more forgiving. I think I might be also more forgiving because it's a kids movie. So obviously they're not gonna try to do anything deep. But I would say that the movies at least try to give us some good character moment, and sometimes doesn't even afraid to show us some horror sequences, obviously for kids. It's not gonna be like the R-rated horror movies, but it's like, yeah, there is some scary scene for kids, obviously, like I mentioned before with the three ladies and in the forest. I love that scene. I wish they could delve in a bit more into that, and that's why I wanted a spin-off with those three ladies. Like I just want to see that them honestly scaring people. I would love to see that, to be honest. But that's probably just me. And obviously, I also wanted to be a sequel to this movie just to see more about the world, more about the forest. I feel like they explore enough, I guess, but I feel like there is so much more to explore for the future installment, in my opinion. Which I don't think they're going to do that because I feel like this movie is I don't know if this movie have enough cult following that if enough people actually talk about it, and there's like a buzz on the internet, but then I'm pretty sure that the studio might consider a sequel. But I feel like this movie has been in development, if I'm not mistaken, since 2015, which is like it's such a long time ago, and yeah, it was announced in September 2015, guys, and then it was released on March 2023. Like that's insane. And even the teaser trailer for this movie was released on July 2017. And I think if you can actually find an image on Google, obviously, about the teaser where Mavka like design and face and animation looks so much more different back in 2017, obviously, until the final movie release, which is like looks super gorgeous. So I have to give props to the animators there. Like they works so long. I'm assuming like since 2015, so it's like what, like 8 years, until this movie was released on 2023. So that's what I'm really hoping that that people watch this movie and give it like an appreciation, and then because they are working hard, they've been developing this movie for such a long time, and it's a good movie. It's not great, it's not the greatest movie ever, but it does the job, like for such a simple plot that you've seen many times. They executed the plot point well enough, and it wasn't annoying, and I wanted to see a sequel to this because again, I feel like there is much more to say about the world. They could like expand more about the character. Sure, it feels like a one-off movie, but I feel like they could, I don't know, bring something new to the plot, I guess, for the future, like go bigger, right? But I guess we'll see, because I feel like I don't think that's gonna happen until people actually watch and create enough buzz about this movie, and then the studio, finally get convinced to make a sequel. I'm assuming, but I guess we'll see. I'm still hoping we get to see a spin-off. I said it many times. I'm sorry, but I just like, yeah, those three moments. I want to see them in the future because I feel like they are pretty, I don't know, pretty interesting to explore. Like I don't mind if the spin-off is actually about them scaring people. To be honest. So yeah, guys. If you guys haven't watched Mavka the Forest Song, please, I recommend you guys to go watch it. Again, it's a good enough movie that I think you guys gonna love it. Because it's 99 minutes long and it does the job pretty well. Except the ending which feel a bit rushed in my opinion. But besides that, I think it does a good job on everything. It was solid. So go watch it when it was released. And if anybody's already watching the movie, then well, you guys can let me know in the comment section below what do you guys think about the movie. Who is your favorite character about in the movie. What is your favorite moments in the movie? I would love to hear that. And yeah, and again, if you guys enjoyed this review, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, the usual stuff, guys. And again, I'm really hoping stay tuned for more videos in the future, guys. And again, I really hope you guys enjoy this review, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.